You're not lazy. You're scared. I'm in my amenities room, the building where I live currently, where I'm trying to keep living by earning currency so I can stay here. So, laziness. I'm very confused about my personality because I'm very, very hardworking and I'm also extremely lazy. Like last week I ran my first marathon and I wrote an ebook, like overlapping. I wrote an ebook in like 5 days and I did the marathon kind of in between those days. And that's a lot of stuff. And there's also times where I watch like 10 hours of YouTube and ignore all the really important things I have to do. Do you also ignore a lot of the important things you have to do? Because you're not alone. And you need to change that up. One thing that helps cancel out fear is getting back in touch with what you really want. And it's tricky to do this sometimes when we don't understand how numb we are. When you're just watching stuff all the time, when you're mindlessly eating, when you're just on autopilot, you're just going through your life, just hoping something changes. You're not exactly in pain, you're not exactly happy or fulfilled, or however you want to frame goodness. Like once you get out of that and you look back, it's like, oh, I was like drugging myself with a meaningless routine and I couldn't feel my heart again. I couldn't feel human again. And so how do we get there? Well, first you got to acknowledge it, right? So this involves having a really high bar, like having a really high bar for what your life looks like. So basically, if you're not out there really hitting the ground running, and I don't mean you have to have the get up at 5 a.m., cold shower, 10 hours of exercise, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm not talking about that. But when I say hit the ground running, it can be on your own terms. But just, are you really living the life you want with the kind of output you want? And we really villainized productivity. I think largely because of work culture and overwork and just having to do stuff that we don't really like. But when you're doing things on your own terms, like productivity is wonderful. Like it feels so good, not just because you've been conditioned to work, but because we're alive and we're supposed to be using that time in a fruitful way. So ask yourself, do you feel like you're using your time in a fruitful way? Do you have excitement about the things you're doing, about the direction you're going in? And it can be really scary to say, no, I don't. It's really scary to admit to yourself that you don't like where your life is going, you don't like where you are. And maybe it's not terrible. This is the thing. Just because it's not terrible doesn't mean you're not screwing yourself over. Like, it's really easy to be like, okay, I have food in the fridge, I have some stuff that I enjoy doing. You know, I know people, I have things to do, whatever, it's fine. That's a low bar. Raise the bar. Raise the bar on your level of enjoyment in life. It's important. Like, it is actually important. So now that we've considered raising the bar, then what? How do you get back in touch with what you really want? So there's two things to consider. You may have the exact same dreams and aspirations you did when you were young, or maybe those have actually changed. So are you lying to yourself about what you want in terms of blocking, like you know what you want, but you're not letting yourself want it? Or are the things that you are telling yourself you want actually an outdated version of yourself, and there's new things that are interesting and exciting for you? I can answer that, of course. Only you can answer that. But that is something to consider as well. If you know what you want and you're like, okay, those are the things that I want. I feel really stuck. How do I get back there? How do I feel again? This is where that ebook I mentioned that I wrote last week called Your CTA Matters. That's not what it's called. It's called Your CTA Matters. And this can help you get back in touch with what you really want and investigate. So there's 4 or 5 chapters, and each chapter has a journaling section at the end to help you kind of dig through a bit more, to get real with yourself, to be like, okay, where are the lies? Let's sniff out some of the lying. Let's sniff out some of the hiding. Let's sniff out where I might be holding myself back, or I might be self-sabotaging, or I might be holding on to some old pain or fear or judgments that are keeping things stuck. Now, you don't need the ebook to investigate. You can journal, you can, honestly, you can chat with ChatGPT. It's oddly useful. Like, you don't want to go to a therapist, you can't afford a therapist, it feels too, like, it's an oddly useful tool. It's not the end all be all of anything, but as a starting point, it can be helpful. So if you want to just do some freestyle journaling around why you think you're holding yourself back, why you think you've been running from things, how you're perceiving yourself, your capacity, your dreams, that's a great way to start. And I do have a free preview of my ebook online. I believe I can link that in the description. And take a look. It's a free 10-page download, and then if you want to get the ebook, it's only $9. So yeah, that's our video today. Thanks so much for watching. Like, share, comment, subscribe, turn on the little bell, all of that, because we're doing things on the channel. And I'd like to see you around. So thank you, have a great day, and I'll see you next time.